Hi friends and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming at you with an old-fashioned classic book haul. I'm not entirely certain what happened, but I went a tad bit crazy book shopping in June. Before June, I had barely purchased any books this year. I had in total purchased 5 physical books so far this year. Because I've been in a reading slump, I haven't been reading much. I've still looked at books and been intrigued by books, but I haven't had like that urge to go book shopping. The way I was feeling in relation to reading for these first few months of the year, I didn't really feel it was justified. But I have since been working on getting my reading mojo back. And I want to say that this book haul that you will very soon see is a result of summer sales and some needed retail therapy. But suddenly, for once, there were a bunch of titles that I was interested in on sale. That very rarely happens, I feel like. So I felt like that was the sign for me to go for it. I also had a book shopping evening, afternoon with my friend where we walked to a couple of bookstores, and I had the intention to purchase something at every bookstore because I felt like I needed that retail therapy and that excitement of book browsing and picking up books, which I did. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through the stack I have here. I can show you a sneak peek of it. Here's a sneak peek. Oh my god, it looks insane when I sit like this. Here's a sneak peek of the book haul, and please stay around if you're curious what these books are. I'm just gonna go through them randomly. These are all basically from the same week. Most of them were online orders. A few of them, or like 4 of them, were books I purchased in store. I am still considering picking up a few more books. I'm starting to feel saturated book shopping wise, but there are still a few titles that I would love to own in a near future. We can start with my current read. This is a book that I didn't know anything about. I had no intention of picking it up, but then I saw it in the bookstore, it looked gorgeous, and I picked it up. So the book I'm talking about is 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corland. This is my current read actually. I'm more than halfway through. I believe it's a fairly recent release, but that it's already blowing up online on both BookTube and BookTok. I had no intention of picking this up really, but then I saw it and I read the synopsis of it, which sounds epic, and then I saw this edition of it with the stenciled edges. I mean, it just looks beautiful to start with, and it has foiling underneath the dust jacket as well. It is gorgeous. It was expensive. I still picked it up because it was a retail therapy moment. It's about a group of 5 different people coming together with the purpose of murdering the current king of the kingdom or something like that. I have a bunch of opinions on this one, so I do plan on making a rant review as soon as I finish this one. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's definitely entertaining, but quality-wise, so I had a bunch of ideas of which books I wanted to pick up. I specifically went to the science fiction bookstore in Stockholm. It's my favorite bookstore. It's my favorite store, I think. Every time I'm there, I try to purchase something because I want to support them. So I had like an idea, an actual list of books I wanted to pick up there, and then I went there and none of them were in stock basically. So I got a random selection instead, but I'm quite happy with it. That's where I picked up the 5 Broken Blades. I also picked up The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is, I believe, the new cover since it's been traditionally published now. I've been wanting to read this book and I thought that, hey, might as well pick it up now. I think I might enjoy this story actually. We're gonna see though. I believe it's a vampire story. It's fantasy romance. It's an adopted human daughter of the night-born vampire king. And then there is a legendary tournament that is held by the goddess of death herself. Warriors from all 3 vampire houses will be competing, and our main character must make an alliance with a mysterious rival. There's no room for compassion and nothing more deadly than love. I think this can be fun. It's a vampire book, but I've heard really great things about this one actually. The last book I picked up at that bookstore was Alone with You in the Ether by Olive Blake. I don't believe this is fantasy. It might be more speculative, I'm not certain, but because I think it's because the sci-fi bookstore sells her other titles, which are more fantasy. This one is there as well. It says a love story. I think it's more of a tragedy than a romance though. In a Chicago art gallery, two people meet by chance. He's a doctoral student consumed by calculations on time travel. She is a bipolar counterfeit artist undergoing court-ordered psychotherapy. I've never read the synopsis of this, I've just heard that people really enjoy it. I don't really have any words, I'm just intrigued. A book I picked up the same day, but in another bookstore, was Becky by Sarah May. This was a really random find and pick up. I went to the English bookshop in Stockholm. It's literally called the English bookshop. I just saw this one, I thought it looked intriguing. Would I have picked it up if I didn't have that I'm gonna buy books mindset that day? Maybe not, but now I have it and I feel like it could be a good summer or travel read. It's peak 90s London, scandal dominates the headlines, men dominate the boardrooms, and Becky Sharp will stop at nothing to reach the top of the Mercury newspaper. Mingling with tabloid millionaires and trading favors with royalty, Becky lands scoop after scoop, ruthlessly carving a place for herself in a world determined to ignore her. These are the biggest stories of the decade, and Becky has something to do with every one of them. But Becky may have more in common with the people she writes about than she thinks. What takes a lifetime to build takes only a moment to destroy. I believe it's about this journalist writing these stories and perhaps getting a bit too caught up with it or something. I think it can be like a funny, lit-ficky sort of story. We're gonna see. I don't know, we're gonna see. Those were the books I picked up in person. Now we will just go through all my random online purchases. I have in front of me The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Have I finished reading The Priory of the Orange Tree? No, I have not. I believe I'm still like 40% through it or something. I've heard so many great things about The Bone Season. I've been wanting to read it for ages, and they have re-released them now with these new covers. I believe they are a bit reworked, so the author has gone through it and edited it and perhaps added some things to it. Yeah, newly revised. So I believe she's actually revising the entire series. I've seen this sort of remake, makeover for I don't know how many books there are in the series, but I've seen it for 4 of the books in the series at least. And it was a great deal on this one actually. And it was actually one of the books I was looking for when I went book browsing or book shopping, so I found it. What is it about? I don't know. The year is 2059. For 2 centuries, the Republic of Skion has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in Europe. In London, Paige Mahoney holds a high rank in the criminal underworld. Paige is a dreamwalker, a rare and formidable kind of clairvoyant. Under Skion law, she commits treason simply by breathing. Okay. What is a clairvoyant? When Paige is arrested for murder, she meets the mysterious founders of Skion, who have been looking for someone with her uncommon abilities. If she is to survive and escape, Paige must use every skill at her disposal and put her trust in someone who ought to be her enemy. A book that is a recent release that I saw on sale and wanted to pick up was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Well, it wasn't technically on sale, I had a discount code, so I used it on this one. It's another Ali Hazelwood feminist novella book. I have read I think most of her books. I have yet to read Bride, and I have yet to read all of her novellas, but the like 3 main one in the feminist series, or whatever you should call it, I have read, all with various experiences, I must say. This one I feel like is promising. I don't know why. I think it's about a friends with benefits relationship, and I think that could be interesting, because that might actually be different than her other books. I'm having higher hopes than I maybe should have for this one. Another romance I picked up is The Catch by Amy Lee. The thing with this one is, it was also on sale I think. And the funny thing is, I just finished reading Set on You by Amy Lee. I really enjoy the way she writes her books, I enjoy her characters, the banter. X's and O's is one of my favorite romances. Set on You didn't really hit the same, but I still really enjoyed it. So when I saw that The Catch was on sale, I was like, perfect, that's the next one in the series I need to read. The series is basically like I think it's called the Influencer series or something. So the characters, the main female leads, are all sort of influencers in some way. It's about the fashion influencer Melanie, who finds herself in a rural fishing village on the east coast of Canada, and she meets Evan, who is a fisherman. Some sort of boating incident happened, which lands Evan in the hospital, and Mel is mistaken for his fiancé by his welcoming yet quirky family. Mel agrees to fake their engagement for just 1 week. It's as if the proposal and while you were sleeping had a baby. Sandra Bullock vibes. I don't need anything else, honestly. A book I picked up when I had a discount code was Dalergut Dream Department Store. It's a book translated from Korean. I saw this for the first time when I was in London in February. It really caught my eye. I was very intrigued to pick it up then, but as I said, I wasn't really reading then, so I couldn't really justify picking it up. But I have since heard good things about this one, which reminded me that yes, I should read it ASAP. I think Gavin, actually, from Gavin Reads It All, read this one and gave it like a 4 or something, so that sort of solidified that decision for me. In a mysterious town that lies hidden in our collective subconscious, there's a quaint little store where all kinds of dreams are sold. Each floor in the department store sells a special kind of dream, catered for each client. And we are following Penny, who works at the Dalergut Dream Department Store, along with other salespeople, led by the flamboyant owner Dalergut himself. There is never a dull moment thanks to the curious, funny and strange clientele that regularly visits the store. Follow along with Penny as she uncovers the workings of this wonderful, whimsical world. I think it looks amazing. I love the colors on this one, honestly, and I'm very excited to pick it up. I already have a plan for when I will read it, and that's gonna be later this summer. A book that just caught my eye, I think it was on a Goodreads recommendation list or something. That one is A Love Like the Sun by Riz M. Nielsen. I just really like the premise of this, so I picked it up when I saw that it was on sale. Lani and Isaac have been best friends since childhood, and they couldn't be more different. She's a homebody who runs a small natural hair store with her mom. He's an international influencer with the paparazzi on his tail. When he comes home and discovers that Lani and her mom are struggling with their business, he tells the world that they are dating. Suddenly business is booming and Lani reluctantly agrees to pretend to be lovers for the course of the summer. Ooh, fake dating! I love fake dating. Perhaps that was why I picked this one up. Just long enough to catch the eye of an investor and get her dream back on track. But as the lines between what's real and pretend blur, it becomes harder and harder to see where friendship ends and something else begins. This one sounds incredible. I'm smiling just from reading the back of it. So this one is definitely coming with me on vacation when I'm going traveling. So excited about this one. Romance, cuteness, yes, summer setting, perfect. Another book that was on sale was Disorientation by Elaine Shu. I butchered that so badly, I'm so sorry. I've seen this around, I've seen it on Goodreads mainly, I think. I don't quite understand what it's about, but the cover intrigues me. Might work well with other books I tend to refer to, women in their 20s struggling through life, because that's a subgenre I really enjoy. Ingrid Yang is desperate to finish her PhD dissertation on the much-lauded poet Xiao Wenju and never read about Chinese things again when she accidentally stumbles upon a strange note in the Shu archives that she thinks might be her ticket out of academic hell. But Ingrid has no idea that the note will lead to an explosive secret, upending her entire life and the lives of those around her. Her clumsy exploits to discover the truth set off a rollercoaster of mishaps and misadventures, from campus protests and over-the-counter drug hallucinations to book burnings and a movement that stinks of yellow peril propaganda. In the aftermath, she'll have to question everything, from her relationship with her fiancé to the kind of person she dares to be. Sounds intense. I don't remember it sounding that intense, but I'm also even more intrigued. A book that was also on sale that I picked up is Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. I've been eyeing this for over a year, I think. I think I first saw this one when I was in Edinburgh 1.5 years ago or something. I believe it's a Medusa retelling, a mythological retelling, a fierce feminist exploration of female rage written with wit and empathy. I have not read anything by Natalie Haynes yet, although there are plenty of her books that I would like to read. Medusa is the sole mortal in a family of gods. Growing up with her Gorgon sisters, she begins to realize that she is the only one who experiences change, the only one who can be hurt. When Poseidon commits an unforgivable act against Medusa in the Temple of Athene, the goddess takes her revenge where she can on his victim. Medusa is changed forever, riding snakes for hair, and her gaze now turns any living creature to stone. She can look at nothing without destroying it. Desperate to protect her beloved sisters, Medusa condemns herself to a life of shadows, until Perseus embarks upon a quest to fetch the head of a Gorgon. Mythological retelling, Medusa story, gonna be good. This is a book I've been eyeing for quite a while as well, also on sale. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Marrer. I believe this is like a book talk book. I just think it sounds like a good time. Assistant wanted. Notorious high-ranking villain seeks loyal, level-headed assistant for unspecified, office duties, supporting staff for random mayhem and terror and other dark things in general. Discretion a must, excellent benefits. It sounds like a grand old time, that's all I need honestly. It says that it's a laugh out loud fantasy romance about the assistant to an evil villain and their unlikely love story. Sounds amazing, I'm super excited, I think this can be fun. 2 more books to go. Another book that I think I read about on Goodreads and that perked my interest is Talking at Night by Claire Deverley. I believe this is another right person, wrong time sort of book. I've come to the realization that I really like those stories and I also quite like friends to lovers stories. After seeing shows such as One Day, Love Rosie, similar, I like those stories, okay? I like those stories when life gets in the way of what could have been and then people sort of meet up through time and have goes at being a couple but it doesn't work out and they try it again later and so it feels realistic. I think that's why I like it. It feels relatable and realistic and I really like those stories. So now whenever I see something that's even close to that, I'm like, yes, I need it. And here we have the same names, I believe, as the characters in Love Rosie, which is why I was even more inclined to pick this one up. Will and Rosie meet as teenagers. They're opposites in every way. She overthinks everything. He's her twin brother's wild and unpredictable friend. But over secret walks home and late night phone calls, they become closer, destined to be one another's great love story. Until one day tragedy strikes and their future together is shattered. But as the years roll on, Will and Rosie can't help but find a way back to each other. Time and time again, they come close to rekindling what might have been. What do you do when the one person you should forget is the one you just can't let go? Yes, more books like this please. If you have any, and I mean any recommendations for right person, wrong time sort of books, please let me know because I'm seriously considering making a dedicated video to reading those types of books and comparing them and watching the movies and like all of that. And then the final book of this book haul is Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop by Hwang Borum. Honestly, all I need is the cover and the title. It looks so cozy, so nice. All it says here is there was only one thing on her mind. I must start a bookshop. Everyone's dream, right? Youngju did everything she was supposed to. Go to university, marry a decent man, get a respectable job, then it all fell apart. Burned out, Youngju abandons her old life, quits her high-flying career, and follows her dream. She opens a bookshop. In a quaint neighborhood in Seoul, surrounded by books, Youngju and her customers take refuge. From the lonely barista to the unhappily married coffee roaster and the writer who sees something special in Youngju, they all have disappointments in their past. The Hyunam-dong Bookshop becomes the place where they all learn how to truly live. A heartwarming story about finding comfort and acceptance in your life and the healing power of books. Doesn't that sound really sweet? I picked up a bunch of great books, oh my god! And most of these were on sale or discounted. Hi, so I know that I've just filmed my latest book haul and am about to edit it, but I have 2 more books to add. There was one book I had been looking for when I went to the sci-fi bookstore. It wasn't in stock, but I've seen this week that they've added it to their stock, that it's supposed to be in stock now. And I walked past the sci-fi bookstore again, so I decided to pick it up. And that is Arcanum Unbounded by Brandon Sanderson. This is a collection of short stories that are in companion with the Cosmere universe and the Cosmere books. So I am currently working on wrapping up Mistborn Era 1. I plan on reading the 3rd book in that series when I'm away on holiday. And once I've done that, of course, I will jump into Mistborn Era 2. But I do believe that I can already read some of the short stories in here with just having read Era 1. I also know there are some short stories in here that are not related to any of his books, that are more like standalone, but still take place in the Cosmere universe. I've been wanting to get this one for a while, but it's always been out of stock. But now that I saw it, I decided like, hey, let's get it now. Then I picked up a 2nd book as well. This wasn't planned, but it was on sale. They had a sale shelf in the sci-fi bookstore and I couldn't resist. It was on a good sale as well. And that is The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence. I believe I was looking for this one as well when I went to the bookstore 2 weeks ago. It's called the Library series or something, which sounds amazing, just that alone. It's called, the Library Trilogy. We have 2 strangers that find themselves connected by a vast and mysterious library containing many wonders and still more secrets in this powerful moving series. I guess it's gonna take place in a library. Like, just look at that cover. It's stunning. I've heard amazing things about this one as well. It has gotten really good reviews, I think. So I'm actually very, very excited. I picked up those 2 books and I'm gonna focus on reading my newly purchased books in the next few weeks. That's it. 15 books that I picked up in the last like 10 days or something. I really went from 0 to 100 with book shopping. How can I complain with a stack like this? Oh my god. That's it for this book haul. If you have read any of these, please let me know. Feel free to share which one you think I should read first out of these ones. Yeah, I hope you enjoy this old-fashioned type of book haul. I've also made like mini book hauls for Book Talk. Because as I've told you in a previous video, I now have Book Talk. So feel free to check me out there as well. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
You gotta just go for it. Don't think about what comes after all.